Welcome to Herf Zone Live, the show where we have the most eclectic lineup of guests, of which some smoke cigars and some who don't. Either way, we bring you the best content weekly. Herf Zone Live is sponsored by StogieLives.com, a social media site just for cigar smokers. Sign up for free and connect with cigar lovers from all over the world. Set up with similar features to Facebook and other social media sites. You can grow your network, start groups, post events, and see why everyone is talking about StogieLives.com. Make sure to connect with Team Shirtless Mike and make Herf Zone and Herf Zone Live, and tell me you can because of the show. And also, I have an announcement before we actually get started with the show. Well, first of all, you guys are now seeing me clear because I now have faster internet, so everything is gonna be smooth. Second of all, Team Shirtless Mike and Herf Zone Live are also getting behind a special project with Ace Prime Cigars and Stogie Press. They're working to raise money for a daycare center in Jalapa, Nicaragua, to help out workers in the cigar industry, among helping in other ways. As you know, Nicaragua has a lot of poverty, and in Jalapa, there is massive amounts of need. This is where a lot of cigars are produced, so I'm just getting behind this along with a whole bunch of other people in the cigar industry to make a difference. The link to the Stogie Press article is in the show description, so it's all included here in the show description. And also included, after you read the article, then I also included another link so it's easier for you to find. And you can go ahead and, make a donation, after you read more what it's about. And on March 2nd, I'm going to have Boston Jimmy from Stogie Press on Herf Zone Live in order to discuss that further and just see how we can get behind and help out and all that good stuff. And we got a good show lined up for you tonight. I have Smokin Nicole. She is the vice president of Smokin Tabacco. And it's going to be an awesome interview. It's her first time on a show, on another person's show, without Matthew Tobacco. Shouts out to Matt over there. He's actually on location with her, just kind of smoking and hanging out. And also, one thing before I bring Nicole on, I do want to wish a happy birthday to my dad. So happy birthday, Dad. I'm going to hit you up later. You're on the West Coast, so I can hit you up a little later. But without further ado, I want to go ahead and bring our guest on, so it's not me just rambling and all that today, because I got to see a lot of people here. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Smokin Nicole, and here she is.
Hi, everyone.
What's going on?
Not much. What's going on with you, Shirtless Mike?
Nothing much. I'm actually going to light this cigar because I should have done that before I brought you on, but I don't know how long the interview will take. I don't know if you're going to talk a lot. So I'm just trying to I'm not going to get started right away. So let me just light this cigar. What are you smoking tonight?
Yeah. I haven't smoked all of my cigars from my Connoisseur Club pack from Smokin. So I'm smoking the number one right now. I hadn't smoked number one and number four. So cigar number one.
Awesome. So let's see who we got here. We got Smokin Lead. What's going on? I was just watching you guys' video. I have to finish watching it. And what's going on? Gracie.
Hi, Gracie.
Yeah, we'll have more people. More people are kind of piling in here and all that good stuff. So I'm just smoking a cheap cigar here, because I got to re-up tomorrow. But the cool thing is I'm getting my party in a box tomorrow from Smokin.
Yes.
You guys got your updated thing, so you're gonna get yours later this week. So Let's get started with this interview, so I'm not sitting here rambling the whole time. So we're gonna start from the very beginning here. So you're from outside the Boston area, but growing up, you also lived in England, and you have a dual citizenship. I've got to know you a little bit. You let me know that. Tell me about your early years and what it was like growing up between the U.S. and the U.K.
Ooh, it was different. It was really different. At 12 years old, I had to pretty much pack my entire life in a suitcase and move to England. So my parents divorced. My mom had immigrated here from Ireland. And she met my father. They were married for 12 years. But when they divorced, all of her family had immigrated from Ireland to England. So I was, I think, in the sixth grade when I moved, and I stayed there till I was 19, and then I moved back here. So it was interesting. I lived on a dead end street between a horse field, a cow field, and a cabbage farm in northern England.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, it
So
was
like
interesting.
culturally though, it's way different over there than over here. Like what are some like distinct differences that you can like list like off the top of your head, like culturally?
Oh, language for sure, especially like British slang. They have some very unique slang words. So, for example, a common greeting for a female was like "a up duck." Like they call females ducks there, or like
Wow.
ducky, which sounds kind of weird. And actually, just at dinner time, we were talking. Me and Matthew were talking about this. Chinese food is different in England because he was eating Chinese food for dinner, and
Mm,
they have different dishes. Obviously, our Chinese food is not real Chinese food, but
yeah.
um, I don't know. It's just it's a different experience. Even in school, their public schools they wear uniforms for one. Sundays are more of like a family day, so a lot of things are shut down on Sundays. Just culturally, I mean, it's hard to list them all for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely. And and your mom's from Ireland, so and you let me know that you're also Irish and Italian like me. And so
Hmm.
so so you're a real like straight from Ireland, Irish.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, so that's cool. That's awesome. So we'll get moving on here. So outside of being the VP of Smoking Tobacco, you're in the beauty industry. You work as an esthetician. How long have you been doing that type of work? Tell me about how you got into that line of work.
Oh God. Well, about 10 years ago now, I'd say I had started working for a couple beauty brands in Macy's. And I had started as a makeup artist, selling cosmetics and things like that. Um, and I did that for about 3 years. And the Macy's I worked at actually closed. So I was laid off. It was like one of the store closings that had happened. And
Mm.
I had ended up starting as a receptionist in a hair salon. And I had worked my way up there into salon and spa management. I had done that for about 3 years. And then I moved back to Boston. So I was living on the other side of the state in Springfield at the time. And I got my job I have now in the spa. So I've been at this spa now for 3 years, managing there. But then last year, I decided to go ahead and get my esthetician license so I could also do facial skincare, something that is important to me. And I tout myself as a professional pimple popper and back
Mm.
waxer because, those are fun things and I get to hurt other people, you know?
Yeah, see that. I mean, I used to be in the medical field, so I could take like certain things, but one thing I don't do is like I don't like pimple. I don't even like pimping my own pimples if I get them.
Oh,
I
I love
just
it.
don't. I don't like it. Like it's I can't stomach that. I can stomach some of the worst stuff out there, but I don't know that I just can't stomach though.
Oh, I'm one of those weirdos who watches like Dr. Pimple Popper.
Oh, I made the mistake one time of watching that while I was eating.
Yeah, you don't do it while you eat.
And
That's for sure.
normally I don't care, but yeah, that just wasn't a good choice there.
Yeah.
And so you've talked about wanting to do a spa night for Ladies of the Leaf. It's definitely a different concept. What would be your vision for something like that? Because you never know, a retailer might contact you and see what you could do for their shop.
And they should, absolutely. So if it was just myself, what I would love to do is invite Ladies of the Leaf in. And I would do skincare analysis, mini eye treatments. I could do mini facial treatments on them while they also enjoy a cigar and a glass of wine. And they're pampered and give away some freebies and goodies. But the other thing is, not just for Ladies of the Leaf, but someone had also expressed to me that it would be good to, in a cigar shop or lounge, have a ladies' night for the non smoking wives of men. And
Hmm.
maybe to help convert them over to the Sisters of the Leaf, do services on them, and then maybe they'll partake while they're there learning about their skin.
That's
So,
that's definitely interesting. Yeah. So if you're a retailer out there, and if your part of the country is open, you definitely got to contact her. because that's some revolutionary stuff. Like I know you said it as an idea, so I figured you didn't say it was top secret, so hey, why not
No.
put it out there? And you never know, something could come about it, and you could be a pioneer in that respect.
Well, hey, I would love to go to one myself anyway, not hosting it. So I hope someone takes my idea. But I don't know. To me, it's interesting.
Definitely. And so a lot of people don't know that you are pretty brand new to smoking cigars. It's been within the last year or so that you would become a cigar smoker, although you were, where you're at in your knowledge is far beyond a newer smoker because you've learned rather quick. So tell me how you got into cigars.
So in April, it will have been a year, actually. And I think it was on my second or third date with Matthew. So that's the thing. Me and Matthew have only been together almost a year as well.
Yeah.
We met during COVID on Facebook dating. And our first date was shouting to each other through our car windows. And then our second date was a walk. And then I think our third date was just a car drive somewhere. But he had me smoke an Atabay. And that was my first cigar, was an Atabay, which people laugh at me because they're like, you started at the top.
You really did. But I mean, your knowledge has really progressed, from the fastest I've personally seen. Sometimes, you don't know unless you tell somebody,
Absolutely. And part of it is, one, I've had a lot of time on my hands because I was off and furloughed due to COVID and due to my industry. So what I did is I jumped in and, at the time, Smokin Tabacco had actually just started a podcast. So Smokin Tabacco had been around as a blog from the September before COVID. And they had just launched their podcast at the end of April. So they call it, Matt and John call it the May Day Eve Massacre, but their first episode was on April 30th of 2020. And so he ended up going back to work, but I did not until this past week, actually. And so I hopped in with my business knowledge, not even cigars, but I've built businesses before and I've done marketing and things like that. And I hopped in to help assist with the website. And I was just kind of hooked on it. So I learned a lot. I was helping write press releases and I was learning a lot from Matthew. Matthew was taking me to cigar shops. I got more into it. He has a lot of books and things like that. He's very educated because he is not new to the industry. So it was a weird start for me, but I learned a lot. So
yeah, definitely. And so you actually covered quite a few of my questions already. So but it's okay, don't be ashamed. I'm some of the stuff I'm winging. So
yeah,
but so recently you kind of made you made the transition from being behind the scenes. You jumped on doing marketing and all that good stuff, like you just explained. And now you're in front of the camera. Like, what's it like, transitioning to being in front of the camera? And I'm sure you're still obviously behind the scenes too. So what's that like for you?
Well, it's not my favorite thing. So I do say
thing?
that I'm actually a really shy person. I learned how to be outgoing for my job. So, at my regular day job, once a month, I have to talk in front of 150 people and I have to, do things. So I can force myself to be social in different aspects. So at the beginning, when I hopped on, I wasn't on the show. I wasn't on Smokin Tabacco at all. And I did just the producing from the back end. So I was always present, but I was not face forward. But as I've, grown with the brand, I kind of changed my mindset a little bit. There's not a lot of female smokers out there, and I wanted to kind of help educate them and show them that women can also smoke cigars and know things about cigars. And that's so I kind of forced myself to do it. And it's interesting, but now I'm a little bit more comfortable and I'm getting there. So
yeah,
and I'm doing stuff like this.
Now you're on Herf Zone Live, and
exactly.
Which is going to give you more exposure out there. So, and just since you kind of started interviewing and everything, you guys have interviewed quite a lot of people. What's been your favorite interview so far that you've personally done?
Oh my God. We've had so many good ones. You know, our first really big one was Nick Perdomo, and I remember geeking out over Nick Perdomo. Because that was like, it was huge. Like we had reps on, and we have John Carney. Sorry,
Yeah.
John, but you're just John to us. um, so I remember geeking out, and his was a cool interview. Jose Blanco was huge for us. His was just so full of knowledge. And we talked before and after. There were just a lot of cigar questions I had been itching to ask him, and unfortunately we didn't ask on air. I wasn't on that show, but we had talked after the fact. Matt Booth from Room 101, that was just a wild episode.
That one, I mean,
Wild.
I think I was one of the people that warned you guys, like,
Yep.
it's going to be wild, but you're going to have a good fucking time. So,
yeah, no. Even and Jeff Borschwitz from Corona Cigar Co. His episode, what was interesting about his is he was telling us some of the story behind the whiskey sets. And each set, they kind of put together had a story, and I thought that was interesting. So, I can find something good to say about every interview, because every time you interview someone, you kind of walk away with more knowledge than you had beforehand. And, you get to know that person on a more personal level. So.
Yeah, definitely. And you guys got a lot going on. You got your show, you got the website, you got merch and everything. But what was it like the end of last year, when all the year-end lists were going on? You guys experimented with doing a consumer cigar of the year, but it didn't go exactly as planned. I didn't follow it really as closely as I should, but there was a bit of controversy over it. Tell me about what happened and what you guys learned from that experience.
Well, I can tell you, I learned I don't think cigars of the year are in our future. But, we had decided to kind of join the hoopla in creating a cigar of the year, competition. But we wanted our viewers and our fans and our followers to choose the winner. Now, we had come up with, I want to say it was 6 or 7 brands of cigars that we had smoked on the show. So we don't review cigars, but these are people who have had cigars and they were guests on our show specifically. Yeah. So, some people had, reached out, why isn't this cigar? And well, we just did a small list from, again, guests. So what ended up happening is it was neck and neck between 2 different brands. And overnight, one brand got 3,000 votes. So the other one was calling a rigged election, essentially. And a lot of people were angry. And, we didn't use the most secure website for our voting. And, it was the equivalent to like Survey Monkey or something. And, there's no way to tell what happened. But people weren't happy. And at that point, we kind of reevaluated where we stood. And, we decided that there's no way to prove it. So what's the point of continuing it? So we stopped it. And then, when we went back and looked at it and looked at what other people were doing in the industry in terms of cigar of the year awards, we're not professional cigar reviewers, right? We just wanted to kind of have a little one. So we don't really even want to attempt it compared to all these larger companies and brands and magazines doing it, because it's not on the same level. So, maybe we have a favorite vote or something in the future, but to call it cigar of the year, it's not really what it was. So, does that make sense?
And, definitely. Yeah. Like I had caught wind, see, that's before I was following you guys as closely as I am. So, I caught some of the wind of it. That's why I wanted to just bring it up to, just kind of see, because, controversy sells anyway. So, I'm sure it got you guys' name out there a little bit more, because I saw people talking about it, and it's just petty, you know what I mean? And, and obviously you already know, you don't waste time over pettiness, and, and you guys you learned your lesson, and, and so if you ever do attempt something like that, you could kind of see, what you could do better and all that good stuff. So.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of the podcasts and things that we do is we kind of just throw ideas and see if they stick, right? Yeah. So that was one that didn't stick. And, there's no shame in that. Things happen, right? So
definitely.
But that's how we grow.
Definitely. And you guys are Micallef Ambassadors. What exactly is that, and how did you guys get connected with Micallef?
So we had actually, Matthew had been sent samples of Micallef a long time ago. And I can't remember who from, but when we first started dating, I would dig through his humidor and I'd be asking about all of these brands and things. And so I pulled out a bag of Micallef cigars, and I think I was the first to smoke them because he has so much stuff he doesn't smoke. And I
Yeah.
really liked it. My first Micallef cigar was a Migdalia, and it was a great blend. I just remember smoking on the back of the show. I was like, wow, this is great. And at the same time, Micallef had been, I guess, looking at people to, podcasts and things to sponsor. They sponsor a couple other podcasts, but we joined their ambassador program first, before sponsorship even came up. And it was a cool community. So the Micallef Ambassador program is their own Micallef run online cigar community. So they have
Mm.
their own Facebook page. They give you a coin with a number. So you're a number and a member of their community. But what they do is they actually talk one-on-one with their ambassadors about feedback for new cigars, feedback on current cigars. They
Mm.
have something called a tasting passport, where all of their blends, you can take notes and you staple the bands to the passport. And if you fill it out, you can actually submit it to be entered in a raffle, and they pull raffles multiple times out of the year. So they do a lot for their ambassadors. Even right now, they're in the midst of still voting, but they were doing Micallef Madness, so like a play on March Madness, where they were voting for the top Micallef cigar. So they kind of engage people that way, and I love that type of engagement. And it's interesting because not a lot of cigar companies do that engagement
Mm.
on their own and actually like hone in on it as a company themselves, right?
Yeah.
We're seeing more of it, but they have done such a great job with it, for sure. And then we had been talking to them, and as with a lot of people who come on our show, we always politely talk about, okay, well, if you're interested in sponsoring us, here's what it takes. We're always just trying to make connections with people, especially because we're smaller, and that's how
Yeah.
you get your foot in the door and get like better camera equipment and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
they jumped on board, and we've been happy ever since. So
Awesome. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting. It's an interesting concept because, like you said, it's like an all in house thing, and they just run that, and it's good. I mean, it's like marketing genius in a way.
yeah. Well, people love it because they can really connect, even with senior management. Dan Thompson, who is going to be a guest on our show tomorrow, he's the president of Micallef, but he frequently goes live. He comments on everyone's posts, and to have that kind of connection and transparency with people in the brand. They're
Yeah.
doing it very well, like very well. They go live multiple times a week in their own group, in the ambassador group, and they're just talking to fans and people who love their cigars, but at the same time they listen. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
it's
It
interesting.
to people that are fans of Micallef, which I've tried a few of their cigars. I think
Mhm.
only one blend, and I think it was the medallion that I tried.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember. I mean, don't quote me on that. Boston Jimmy actually handed it to me. That's the only one I
Yep.
really enjoyed. So,
Yeah.
I wanted to know more because before I say, oh, I didn't, like all
Yeah.
the blends, but it is what it is.
Uh,
And recently though, you and Matt attended the Meatball over at Two Guys. Give me the rundown of how the event went, like how was it set up, etc. And where were you ready to see? Were you ready to see Steve Saka get second place when he has been the champion for 2 years in a row?
I was thinking that he wasn't going to get number one again. How many times can Steve Saka really win the meatball contest, in my opinion? So this is the first one we have attended. But we're not strangers to the smoke shop that hosted it too, guys. So
Yeah.
Matthew used to be on one of their sister podcasts there, the Ashholes radio
Hmm.
show. And so what's cool about their shop is that above on their second floor, they have a podcast studio. And then they also have an event room. So
Hmm.
they go live on stage. So they have their own in-house podcast studio. So you can smoke cigars in a professional studio, which is kind of cool. So what they did is they did a digital event where they were doing the meatball thing on stage, and in their event room, they had the meatballs there and the small amount of guests because, COVID and everything is still pretty, we're still kind of locked down a little bit up here. So there was only a handful of people, but they had the meatballs, and it was kind of like you go up on the buffet and you get, your 5 different meatballs to try. They all have a different flag, and you were handed a slip to choose which was the best meatball. So, we tried them all. Some of them were good, some of them not so good. The winner, I didn't think deserved to win. Oliver Nouveau. He did a stuffed meatball, and I'm half Italian, so I picked the traditional meatball. Don't stuff my meatball with like a grape leaf and like something else, and whatever he did, it was like cheese, so it tasted like a grilled cheese meatball and not really a meatball. It wasn't. It wasn't.
I definitely get the drift. I'm not half Italian, but I'm enough to where I'm very picky.
So it was interesting. Someone did a really spicy meatball, but it was
meatball.
Spicy meatball. But what was really cool is you got during the event a bag of Dunbarton cigars to try, but then Steve was kind enough to also pass out another Sombra Mesa when you walked in, and he had been to Nicaragua just the week before, and he brought, for people who attended the event in person, a special polpetta, which is a larger size, because I know he does the event, the smaller one, that was just rolled fresh like the week before. He had like smuggled them back during his trip. So it was cool to get that. I haven't smoked it yet. It's sitting in my humidor. I'm going to save it for a special occasion when I make some meatballs. So
definitely. Yes. And make sure you FedEx me some too.
Oh, the meatballs? Okay.
Overnight it for me. And you recently joined the Connoisseurs Club by Smokin. You got your package, started smoking through the cigars. You're smoking number 1 right now. What is your opinion on the club so far? What number was your favorite out of the first month's run?
Ooh, so it's hard to say. I told you I didn't finish smoking all of them yet. So I am on cigar number 1. That is what I'm smoking tonight. And then I also have 4. So I've already smoked 2, 3, and 5. Out of those 3, 5 was my favorite. And this one, I'll tell you right now, I am guessing, and I could be wrong, but that there's some Honduran tobacco in here. And you can tell there's some little bumps in the ash, which means it was grown in really rich soil. I'm interested to see in who rolled it, and I have my thoughts on that, but we'll see. We'll see who it is. I love it because it kind of, the whole program itself is something I've been seeking in terms of testing my own cigar knowledge. And some people, I feel like they just want to sit back, relax, and have a cigar. That's great, but I kind of like to be tested. And I like testing my palate, and that's how I want to grow my palate. Like we talked about, I haven't been smoking that long, but the only way you can strengthen and grow your palate is by trying new things. So I'm constantly picking up cigars I haven't tried before. I'm trying new things. I'm trying to take notes. I'm trying new blends, new sizes. What do I like? What do I not like? But I'm willing to experiment. And this club gives me everything I'm kind of looking for in like a personal test, so to speak. So I'm curious to see if my predictions are spot on come February 14th.
Definitely. And, it takes a long time to really develop your palate. I've been smoking cigars for about 13 years now, and I'm still developing my palate. Like, I can pick out flavor notes and all that, but half the time I really just like to just enjoy it. That's part of the reason why I don't review cigars, because I don't want, that type of pressure, because then I have to come up with, all this, I have to come up with like basically like a standard of I rate my cigars. That's just too much.
And you know what, we do the same thing, because we've talked about, do we add cigar reviews to the website? Because Matthew could do them, of course, but it takes time, and it kind of makes cigar smoking into work, and that's not something we want to do. We do like sitting back and enjoying the cigar. So it's not something we want to do, and the people that do it right now for the most part are really good at it. And, I'd rather support the people putting a lot of effort into it
Yeah,
who are out there right now. They're doing it
definitely.
great. So
There's more than enough people doing it, and
exactly.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
And one of the things I want to do is interview more ladies of the leaf. And since you started smoking cigars, have you found any sisters of the leaf that you admire, and are there any that you want to meet one day that you haven't met?
Well, I haven't met a lot because of COVID, for
Oh
one.
yeah,
So I really, I mean, I don't think I've met like one. I've met one person who's more local. She doesn't have a big page or anything, but she was very sweet. I've also met Yvonne, who works for Dunbarton. So there are a couple people out there. But I would love to meet Miss Melanie Cisco someday.
oh yeah.
She
I've
is a
met her in
fun time.
person. I met her in person already.
Well, she's a
And
fun time online, and
oh yeah, she's cool. She's cool.
Matthew has been a fan of hers even before Smokin Tobacco started, and she was actually one of the first people that supported Matthew. Before him and I were even dating. So when he first started Smokin Tobacco before the podcast,
Yeah,
we actually have some older photos. We'll have to like rehash them of where she was. Modeling his first T-shirt designs like way back when.
yeah.
um, so it's interesting, but I think she would be a fun time. I'd love to sit down with her and have a cigar.
Yeah, last night I'm sure you saw we did like an impromptu just live where we were just kind of just talking shit, and I was kind of we talk about the things that people bring up because I'm one of those people. I'll be honest, if I'm cool with somebody, I'll tell people what I hear and all that, and
Yeah.
just and be like, hey, like look, just watch out for this, blah blah blah. But it was pretty cool. But yeah, so sometimes with women, things tend to get catty. Have you experienced any cattiness from other female cigar smokers, or have you just experienced a lot of support and love for one another?
Honestly, support and love. I think that just kind of goes down to the type of woman that you are. Most women, for the most part, are super supportive. I grew up with two brothers, and not a lot of females in my family, so the cattiness doesn't really get to me.
Yeah,
And I've worked in the beauty industry, so I'm dealing with females, so it's you let things roll off your back. I don't hold things too close to the heart, if that makes sense.
yeah, definitely. That's
So
definitely a smart way to go in the beauty industry, especially I used to be in the medical field, so being a guy working as a CNA with a bunch of female nurses,
mhm.
like it's craziness. But my mom, she's a cosmetologist, so I don't even go. I don't have her cut my hair. I just go to a male barber shop. Nothing against my mom, but I sit there and have to listen to them. That my mom's Irish and Italian, so it's like just drama, drama, drama. So tell me about your pet project, Cigar Babe. What is your vision for that, and how do you see it progressing in the future?
So, Smokin' Babe. So, Smokin'
Oh,
Babe
sorry
is
about
just,
that.
that's
Sorry about that.
okay. No, it's fine. So Smokin' Babe was just a play on kind of smoking tobacco, to be honest. So, I love Matthew's logo, but it is more masculine. So I just wanted to kind of, when we were creating shirts and merchandise, which by the way, we don't really do for profit. We do make some profit, but versus us asking for donations,
Yeah.
we created shirts and merchandise which we only sell for up to $5 over what it actually costs to make it, in order
Hmm.
for people to support us, because we're just not, we're not the type who want to ask for donations. So that's why
Yeah.
we even have the merchandise to begin with. So we were kind of creating some different ideas. No one just wants to buy just a Smokin Tobacco shirt, like sometimes people do to rep, but what other ideas could we come up with? So I wanted a female friendly shirt that was smoking related, so Smokin Babe, so someone can purchase a Smokin Babe shirt and wear that around as a low key way to have a nod towards cigar smoking, so to speak. So I don't expect it to get too big. I made
You
a
never
phone
know.
case.
You never know because stuff takes off without you really thinking it's going to take off the way it does.
And that's true as well. But like I said, it was just a play on Smokin Tobacco, Smokin Babes, Smokin Babe movement. We're smoking females, smoking cigars. That wasn't, because I don't like things also, if I'm going to wear something out in public, obviously like tobacco and the cigar industry is kind of frowned upon. So I wanted it to be kind of like a more of a low key type nod,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. And that kind of fit the bill. So
Yeah, definitely. And there are some sisters of the leaf that I always ask, opinions on this, just, because it's just one of those questions that it's just easy to get response, but that they post provocative pictures. Some are classier than others. What is your opinion on women who make posts like this? And do you think it helps or hurts the cigar industry?
Honestly, I would say if you got it, flaunt it. I mean, it's not something that I wish to do, and each woman is their own, right? If
Yeah.
women want to do that, I support it. I don't think anything less of someone who does that. It's not my style personally, but that's not to say it's it can be someone else's. I'm just more of a shy person myself, right? And does it hurt us? I don't think so. Anything sells. I mean, you go to the bar, you go to the club, you have drink girls, bottle service girls. Like, it's kind of the same. It's like every industry, you can kind of find something like that. Beauty sells, right? That's why there's a
Hmm.
beauty industry that I work in. So, to each their own. But, at the end of the day, I'm not going to, be negative towards someone who chooses to have a page like that. I just choose to run mine differently.
Yeah,
So that's it.
definitely. Yeah, definitely. That's a good way
So
to put it. And once you actually talk, like, that's the thing. Like, you look at the image or the package that they're putting out or whatever, and a lot of times, if you look deeper, it's it's not more so about like the look or whatever.
mhm.
Like, it's just a way to gain the attention, but then at the same time, like, a lot of Sisters of the Leaf, they actually do got some real knowledge, behind, they
Yeah.
just happen to have that they do. And I don't know if it's me, because I used to have, a lot of stripper friends when I used to be a little bit more wild. And, I'm all about female empowerment. Like, you can be empowered, and and get your hustle on and be the one in control. Like, you're not selling yourself short or whatever, if you're the one that's doing that, nobody else is making you do that.
Absolutely. And most of the women, I mean, they're not doing it against their will. They're doing it because they want to do it and they like it and they like the attention it brings and they like what they put out. So, like I said, to each their own. If
Yeah,
that's what they want to do, good for them. And I'll still support them. So,
definitely. And what are some of your favorite cigars so far? I know you're a newer smoker, but you already have quite the collection. So what have you been into, like, lately, or at least just since you got started?
well, we had talked a little bit about this before the show, but just this week I was able to purchase a box of the God of Fire Series B. I got the double Corona, so I love that cigar in that size. I bought a box recently of the Herrera Esteli Maduro, which I really enjoyed that.
That's a good
Um,
cigar.
what else? I have a secret stash of Opus, so I'm an Angel Share girl, and I keep. Shh, I know, shh, but secret stash. Well, no, because like I said, I can always smoke my favorites, but I do try to experiment with other things, right? So I'm always constantly trying and different cigars, but Micallef. So from Micallef, I love the Leenda #2. I love the double Lajero from them, or not double Lajero, sorry. The Grande Bold Lajero. I'm thinking of LFD, the double Lajero. wrong cigar. But LFD, I fell in love with the Coronado and the Lennox lately. So I love trying new things.
Yeah,
And it's very rare I find cigars I don't like. I do tend to like things on the darker side in terms of wrapper, though. And I do. Um, I tend to go towards more Dominican tobacco cigars, but um, I try it all.
definitely, definitely. And so we just passed the year end cigar list. Everyone was releasing their list and all that. What media sources do you follow for their year end list?
All of them.
All of them.
I'm not kidding. I try to follow a lot of different lists. Being a cigar podcaster. I do low key like keep tabs on everyone else, or as much as I can. Cigar Coop is definitely one of the biggest ones that we follow. He's become a close friend of the Smokin Tabacco show, and he puts out very good work. And even like with his cigar reviews, he smokes the cigar 3 times on 3 different occasions before he even puts out his review. Like he puts out like legitimate, very analytical based reviews. And I like that because, it's not just someone smoking it once, putting down their thoughts. Like he is truly like putting a lot into it. Even Half Wheel, I keep tabs on, Cigar Aficionado. There's all sorts of them. And Cigar Authority had a cigar of the year as well. I try to pay attention to all of them, but they're all different. They all had a different cigar of the year. But it's hard to keep up with. I'm going to say that because I try all the time to listen to different podcasts and everything, and there's not enough hours in the week. I'm listening now on my way to work and on my way home at work, trying to keep up with all the podcasts. So
yeah, definitely. And that's why I watch like a certain number of shows. I've been watching you guys more lately. I religiously follow I Tap That Cigar Club or not Cigar Club, but I Tap That Cigar Show.
Yep.
And I'm actually having Kevin Shahan on next week. And plus I'll get to see him because he's going to be at the Great Smoke at Boynton at the watch party. So it's going to be cool. I have him on the show and we're going to hang out on the weekend. So, and you mentioned Coop. It was funny that you mentioned Coop, though. It's one of the people because you guys have obviously become friends. But I made a comment the other day on Matt's post, and I compared him to Cigar Coop. Do you see any similarities between him and Coop? Now, he's not quite as, like, the nerdy kind of sound or whatever, but, like, when it comes to some of his mannerisms, like, when he's, like, on his show or whatever, like, have you kind of, like, made that comparison? Like, he's like a young Coop.
I don't think so. They're each their own person. I don't know.
I'm not saying they're like just alike. I'm just saying that he reminds me of like a young Coop. Like he's like. He even has a headset like Coop. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what does it.
No, we got these headsets actually from not from them, but the Cigar Authority in their podcast studio. These are professional broadcasting headsets, so it's the best brand out there. It's not that we have matching headsets. They're just really good. There's
some similarities. Like Coop, he's originally from New York, which is decently. He's from the Northeast, so he's got they both have, but it's different Northeastern accents. But now Matt's probably just on the sidelines, like.
No, he was showing me his phone, but that's because NASCAR is doing. What are they doing tonight?
He's probably just shaking his head though now.
No, huh? They're doing the Clash at Daytona. He's a big NASCAR guy, and his boy Kyle Busch is number 1 right now. So number 3. Sorry, number 3. He was
nice. That's cool.
So
yeah. So what do you guys with Smokin Tabacco? What do you guys have coming up in the future that you could talk about?
So nothing super specific aside from getting out into the world more once it's kind of safe with COVID. So once travel is safe and things, our plan is to go to trade shows, to be interviewing people there, to be doing content creation there for our show, as well as just we want to do a floor of Florida. For example, there's so many shops down there and manufacturers we want to visit, as well as we've been invited on some factory tours. So we want to go and create content at some of the factories we've been invited to. So again, once travel is safe, you're going to see more of us out in other places.
Well, when you come to Florida, when you're in Orlando, I'm like less an hour or less from Orlando, depending on the time of the day. So if it's the middle of the afternoon or at night, probably going to be over an hour, but it's not that far. I'll ride over there.
Oh yeah, no, when we go to Florida, we're definitely going to be like driving around Florida because we know Matthew actually has some close friends there.
You guys could even come to me and then I'll take you to the local shops because I'm the cigar mayor of Brevard County. So I'm connected with, all the shops. There's 2 like main big ones that are like the best. But there's a couple smaller ones that are they're okay. They have a decent selection for what they are or whatever, but.
Well, Florida is the holy land of cigars. New Hampshire
everywhere.
has some good shops, but Florida is definitely like up there. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
on our list.
definitely. And I was gonna ask about your Monday night herf, but you just made the announcement that because you're going back to work, you're switching the herfs to Fridays. Um,
Yeah, we're
yeah,
going to do a bi-weekly one instead. So
okay,
Monday night just got a little difficult. I didn't expect to actually be going back to work so soon, but I did,
yeah, that's awesome.
which
Speak
is
of the devil,
wonderful.
there goes Orlando.
Yeah, I know. I keep seeing the notifications. Orlando's Orlando's a talker.
Yeah,
But I love Orlando, so I'm just poking at fun out of him. But
yeah.
we're going to be doing a bi-weekly herf on every other Friday, and same thing, same drill, talking, doing some prizes, doing some giveaways, things like that. We've really kind of built up our Smoking Tobacco group, as
Hmm.
well as our page, but we have our Smoking Tobacco club group, and we love being able to have FaceTime, with our followers and our friends. So,
Yeah.
we like connecting with people, and we want to be very accessible. So I love having conversations and, meeting all these people. So we don't want to take it away, but it's just really hard to do it on the Monday nights now. So
Yeah, definitely. And same thing here. Like I love to interact with people. Like being on all these virtual herfs is the reason why I'm as known as I was already known prior to COVID and all the virtual herfs, but now I just make my rounds everywhere. That's how I met
yep.
you and Matt.
Yeah.
And just showing face and just, making myself known instead of being like a silent follower. So
Well, also think about it this way, right? So, when you go to a shop, you're not always going to go at the same time as everyone else. And,
mhm.
how many people are really in your local shop at any given time. So you're able to actually connect with more cigar smokers by joining these groups, by, jumping on herfs, by communicating with other people, liking people's things. So you're actually kind of more involved with cigar culture by participating, right?
Mhm.
You can't get that much participation from going to your local shop 1 or 2 times a week. But if you're smoking at home, which most people do, and especially now during COVID, I don't want to go out all the time and sit at a lounge. I'd rather be at home in my own space, smoking a cigar. So
Yeah.
you can do that now and talk to other people, and it's like bringing the lounge experience into your own home.
Oh yeah, definitely. And Florida's pretty much, we've been open for a while now. And so I do a little bit of both. Like I'm not doing as much of the virtual, but I still make, time and, pop in and everything. But,
Yeah.
that's only when I'm just not at the lounge and, the a lot of attending a lot of virtual events becomes too much after a while. So I just need to breathe and have a little bit of space. But then, when I get bored, I'll come on and be like, "What's happening, guys?"
Yeah.
So we're almost done here. So what else do you want the world to know about Smokin Nicole?
Oh my God. Well, I'm here to stay for one. So I know I just kind of got into cigar smoking, but I plan on being around for a while. Even though Matthew and I both have, regular full-time day jobs, we're really trying to make this our show something that is going to last and not just, be a COVID pet project. So we will be around moving forward, and we have plans, for the next couple of years of still doing Smokin Tabacco stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And where can everyone follow you and Smokin Tobacco on social media?
Everywhere, of course. So for myself and Matthew, we both have separate Instagrams. So mine is smokin.nicole. For Instagram, his is just all one word, Smokin Tabacco. And then on Facebook, I'm Nicole Patrice, and he is Smokin Tabacco and Matthew Tobacco. So you can follow us, join our group, friend us, of course. And then our show is on facebook.com/smokin tobacco and youtube.com/smokin tobacco Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. EST. Tomorrow we actually have Dan Thompson on, who's the president of Micallef. So he's our guest tomorrow. Micallef Cigars. So that's going to be a fun show. And yeah.
Definitely. Before we get out of here, what are you guys gonna be doing? Are you gonna have your own watch party at home for the Great Smoke, or what are y'all
Yeah.
doing?
So I had put feelers out into our group to just see if anyone would be interested. So we are going to be smoking in our cigar garage little hangout pretty much all day long. So we plan on full thing. We're not leaving. We're watching that all day long. We're going to put it on our TV and hang out. But I did say to people if they wanted to maybe do a virtual herf during the event. So we might actually be herfing with some people from the Smokin Tabacco Cigar Club group on Facebook. So we can kind of chat and, get feedback in between segments and things like that. But we're going to be hanging low. So
I caught the Super Bowl thing that Matt and John Carney did, and Matt was super excited. Like I've never seen him that lit up.
He is a sports guy. 100%. It doesn't matter what sport it is. That is how amped he gets, and it's a little much. Not in a bad way, but like his energy is his energy levels here, and I'm not that much of a sports person, so mine's here.
Yeah, I'm actually not a sports person either. Like I watched the Super Bowl, but even this year, like I was drinking, and I drank like 75% of a bottle of Absolute mixed with, with Coke, and yeah, I was hammered. I was completely hammered, but it was fun.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll still watch, but I didn't participate in their chat. But both Matt and John are huge. They're huge sports guys. So, it was actually kind of last minute. They decided maybe an hour before the show that they were going to do a halftime show. Like that was not planned actually. And then the after show that they did with Coop was actually not planned either. It was just the Super Bowl was going great, and they were like, screw it, let's go live again after.
I didn't catch after, but I was too hammered by after the Super Bowl. But
so Coop actually joined on afterward, and I forget who the other gentleman was because I wasn't paying attention. I was actually watching a different cigar podcast at that point because the Super Bowl was over, so I was like into my let me creep on other people's podcasts moment. So they went a lot longer, and it was fun. It was interesting. And then I got 5 hours of sleep and had to be at work the next morning.
Woo!
So, woo!
But I'm sure it's definitely breaking up the monotony, and even though it's gonna take some adjustment since haven't been working, I'm sure you feel a lot better because just not working for a while, like, just makes you feel like crap. Like you're just like, what am I gonna like? Even though you do other stuff, you're just like, I need to do something else.
Yeah.
But I do want to thank you so much for coming on the show and for everybody that is tuned in. Shouts out to Orlando, Mama Tobacco, Melanie Cisco, everybody else that's chiming in on the show and all that good stuff. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like this video, subscribe if you saw this video any other place like Facebook or on Twitch or somewhere. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. When I get my great smoke box, I'm doing an unboxing video for YouTube and all that good stuff. So it's all like Donkey Kong. And we could chop it up after the show and everything, but I'll go ahead and get off of here. You guys have a wonderful night. Thank you guys for tuning in to Herf Zone Live. Peace out.